I'm noticing a pattern here with the attacks on black women with voting, because you remember the black woman in Texas that they gave jail time for voting in the presidential election when she didn't know that she wasn't eligible to vote. Now you have another black woman, and this black woman is pregnant out of North Carolina. She's facing more than 3 years in prison because she voted in the 2016 presidential election while she was on probation. So Lanisha Bratcher did not know she done anything wrong until the police arrived at her home in July 2019 to arrest her. She told the Guardian that the police officer stormed into her homes like the Dukes of Hazzard and took her in custody. The prosecutors charged her with 1 count of felony illegal voting, but the charge was doubled last month when the prosecutor charged Bratcher with lying about her eligibility to vote on 2 forms, her voter registration and her early voting form. It convicted the 32-year-old woman is facing 19 months in prison on each count. Okay, so it says it definitely echoed what happened to Crystal Mason, who was on probation for a felony assault conviction when she cast her ballot in 2016. It said the prosecution told her the original charge would be dropped, but instead a grand jury issued 2 additional indictments. It said the pregnant mother of 2 insists she was unaware she could not vote until she finished her sentence. She said, I had no intention of tricking anybody or be malicious or any kind of way. He said, if you expect us to know that we should not do something, then we should not be on the list or even allowed to do it. Well, I agree with that 100%. Or it should be told to you up front that, okay, you're in prison where your eligibility is revoked until you get done. That would be the proper way to do it, right? Okay. So it says North Carolina considered illegal voting a strict liability felony, meaning the prosecution does not have to prove that Bratcher intended to vote illegally. It said a professor of history and American studies at Catawba College said the law is based on a 19th century efforts to prevent black people from gaining political power. Yes, listen, the Republicans, they big on this, right? They say that they want black people to come be part of the Republican Party. Some of them say that, right? But yet they're the main party that gerrymanders. They're the main party that's, prosecuting black people for voting. Where's these cases of white women going to jail for this? Why only black women? This is 2 black women I remember right now could possibly go to jail for quote unquote illegally voting. This is like a black code, right? Let's try to bring these black codes back and try to criminalize black people. You know what I'm saying, for voting, because they say, oh, well, they're gonna vote Democrat, so let me try to criminalize them and scare black people from voting. That's what a lot of it is. But the way things are going now, it's gonna be a lot of people out there voting. So good luck with some of that. Now they say white supremacists did not want another reform effort. They say hence a severe penalty for those who could be proven to be voting as a criminal act, right? So they said that a Democrat Party handbook published in 1898 explicitly accused the Republican Party of advocating for black suffrage to gain power. And say the text says suppression laws are enacted to protect white voters of the state against having their honest votes offset by illegally and fraudulently registered Negro votes, okay? So they said her lawyer, John Corella, believes the law is serving its intended purpose. Say in response, it said be made aware of the explicitly white supremacist history of that law. And say in the unconstitutional way it is applied, the DA decided rather than to dismiss or back off on those charges, to essentially double down with more felonies and try to prevent that history and that unconstitutional challenge from being aired in court. So they say the prosecutors, serve the same purpose as the original law to intimidate black voters in North Carolina. Okay. So it said North Carolina, they said 441 people have been investigated for committing voter fraud, and most of them, 68%, were black. Means that in the state of North Carolina, black people, they're targeting you. They're targeting you. And it said, according to figures from the North Carolina State Board of Elections, African Americans only make up 22% of the voters' registration. So you're going after 68% of black people in that list, but black people only 22% of the votes. They don't look. If every black person voted in North Carolina, they couldn't win a vote without other people. But yet you don't care about that. You just don't want black people out there to vote. Now, voting is something that you should do definitely on the local level, state level. You definitely can vote, for your Congress people, your Senate people. Now, the president thing, that's I always say that whole thing is rigged because of the electoral college. I don't like the electoral college system. They should have the popular vote and that's it. Now, the sisters out on bond and say a week after her new indictment was signed, they said that the neighboring congressional district, former North Carolina congressional candidate Mark Harris, is cleared of any wrongdoing related to a ballot fraud case that led to nullification of 2018 9th District general election results for the district congressional seat. Okay, so this is the thing. They want to, listen, they want to keep Trump in office in some of these states, ladies and gentlemen. And it's amazing, it's not about even liking Trump or disliking Trump at this point. It's about looking at the results. The results is this. 140,000 people plus are dead. And it's his fault. Why would you want somebody back in there that's responsible for that? Why? It doesn't make sense. But we're really seeing the quote unquote geniuses in this country, right? These people that walked around saying they got such a high IQ and they so smart. And yeah, we're seeing how smart they are with Corona, right? We're seeing their whole genius on display. I mean, they got, you should see the looks in their faces. They got these dumbfounded looks like they don't know what the hell they doing. And notice they don't be walking around talking about how high their IQ is at this point anymore. You notice that? I don't hear that no more because every day they being shown they ain't got no high IQ. But they just targeting the black people with this. And the data, just back that up. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with this sister. With this particular case, it's completely wrong. And once again, it's just, how they target black people, period. And I told y'all this, as long as they are in control, that's not going to change. You got to have fundamental change in America where they're not in control anymore in order for that to happen. That's just really how it's going to end.